Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Morally Bankrupt podcast. Shane here, Dan and Don also. And what we got going on tonight, guys? What are we talking about?
Well, we're going to try to cover a pretty broad spectrum in the world of sports tonight. Want to talk a little about Kobe. Massive loss in the sports world. And then once we get our thoughts in on that, we'll move on to the WWE, the last pay-per-view there, the Royal Rumble. And then we're going to touch on the QB skills contest, the big losers and winners. And we'll just kind of see where it goes from there. Shane, right. We spoke earlier about you had a really good Kobe story. Go ahead and share that with us.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Kobe Bryant is definitely you're losing a legend. I mean, definitely not just a sports icon across the board. I mean, I've heard people talk about it so far. It's almost like Michael Jackson dying. I've heard other people say it was like John Lennon being killed. It's just so sudden. I had the opportunity in Kobe's final season. I went to one of his final 5 games down in New Orleans, watch him play the Pelicans. Sitting relatively low down, good seat, sold out arena. Pelicans were terrible, Lakers were terrible. That game, the seat I had normally would have gone for $20, but it went for $100 because Kobe was playing the last game.
Right.
You know, and go down there, and literally, you would have thought we were in a Staples Center. I mean, the amount of respect everybody had for Kobe, who he was, his competitor. I mean, I personally, I'd had my beef with him before because I was a Shaq guy, you know. But
of course,
once Shaq kind of got out of the wayside, I mean, you got to respect Kobe no matter what. I mean, you put that beef aside, he's just a hell of a competitor, fantastic role model, obviously. And yeah, every time he got on the court in the Smoothie King Arena down there in New Orleans, everybody was just chanting Kobe, Kobe, Kobe the whole time. And it was, I mean, you just understand how much respect when you're in a opposing arena and they're cheering for you. You know, that's the farewell tour, you know. It was it was an unbelievable thing to watch. And man, I'm just blown away. I mean, it's one of those things you lose an idol. And growing up playing basketball, I played basketball. I mean, it was, I had the tail end of Jordan's career, and then it was Kobe.
Yeah.
And Vince Carter, Allen Iverson, but the main guy was, Kobe, obviously, Shaq. So, I mean, you're talking about guys as a basketball player growing up, you idolize. And, to lose them so suddenly, so quick, I mean, it's just, it's unreal.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I was a huge Jordan fan growing up. Playing basketball outside, you were Michael Jordan, right? And then when Jordan finally did end up hanging it up, it was kind of a thought of, a lot of people said that there will never be another Michael Jordan. And then there was kind of that feeling like nobody could not only be Michael Jordan, but nobody could carry the NBA the way that Michael Jordan did, right? But Kobe was able to not necessarily fill Michael's shoes, but he picked up that torch and he ran with it. He was the marquee guy. I saw a mashup today on YouTube. It was really, really interesting, and it was a lot of Michael Jordan starting to move, and then it faded right into Kobe finishing it.
Yep. Oh, yeah,
and it was
that's awesome.
Right, and it's just unreal, man. It was every kid in every backyard, in every driveway, in every gym in America growing up, and Kobe actually got to be that dude.
Yeah.
Right? And, the way it ended up, the guy transcended sports. I mean, outside of, an incident early in his career, you never heard a bad word about the guy. The worst thing you ever heard was the beef between Shaq and Kobe, right? And what did they do? They went out and won championships together. Three in a row, right? So it's wild to have somebody that touched so many lives and had so many fans and had so much respect around not only the league and the country but the world. Jump in a helicopter one day, man, and with his daughter who's 13, no less, and then you lose him just like that. So it's yeah, and I think you're not too far off, man. Like the Michael Jackson thing. It was just Michael Jackson was going down a bad road for a long time, right? John Lennon's a really good one. He was a guy that was super famous around the world, and was just taken way too early. Trump actually made a really really cool statement about the whole situation. Kobe was just getting started. The first half of his life was all basketball, and he had put that down, and he had his hands in all kinds of stuff, right? That guy was super smart.
He owned a good portion of that Fortnite game. Like, the firm did. Like, dude, they said that what they know of is about $2 billion, but that's just whatever. There's possibly $5 billion worth of assets he had in investments.
Yeah, how wild is that, man? You look at a guy like Kobe Bryant who does everything right. He did it the right way. He came up the right way. He had a great attitude. He was smart with his money. And then you look at a Delonte West that's on, it's almost on a corner, man. It's crazy.
Or even AI. I mean, AI has been in the gutter before, too.
Sure.
I mean, thankfully he's bounced back, but I mean...
you see that he had $500,000 worth of jewelry stolen from him?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And apparently the guy turned himself in. I guess either somebody knew who he was or whatever. Like, he turned himself in with the jewelry. But
dang,
who just puts $500,000 backpack?
But back to Kobe. I mean, like Dan said, though, I mean, he was the guy who kind of took the torch, but he also was the guy who was 17 years old when he was drafted and was still able to do it. I mean, it was just remarkable the weight that LA immediately put on his shoulders, and he's like, all right, cool. I'll take every last shot. If I miss it, it is what it is. If not, let's go win some games. It's like that attitude right there. He wants the ball at every opportunity that something's on the line.
Well, it's one thing to want the ball. Everybody wants the ball. Everybody wants to be that guy. But he was that guy.
Yeah.
And he did make those shots, right?
And there's a reason why everybody fed him.
When you look back at a LeBron James career, that dude's missed a lot of shots, man. A lot of those last-minute shots.
A lot of balls away. I mean, Ray Allen won him a title.
Sure,
yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Man, Kobe, that he was never that dude where it's like, oh, man, too bad Kobe missed that shot.
And like Shane talked about earlier, I kind of did the same thing as Shane, kind of that last year being his farewell tour. I went to the game in Indianapolis when they played the Pacers. I mean, the Pacers were god-awful that year. Lakers were terrible, but the arena was packed the same way like Shane was talking. And this was, a game that was like game number 54 in this season. I mean, it didn't matter for either team, but yet the turnout was there for one person and one person only. I mean, it was you can't put into words what it was like with having 18,000 people in Indianapolis rooting for the guy on the other team. Like you said, it's just
it was crazy.
The control it was mind-boggling.
Yeah, and Indianapolis
too. That's how it was in New Orleans.
Yeah. And Indianapolis and LA don't exactly have the friendliest of rivalries, right? Like, when the news broke on Sunday, I was actually in a large department store, okay? And I was in line, and there were probably, no joke, 100 people in line, right, at the same time as I was trying to check out. And you had this really odd, surreal moment, and this is one of those things that, you say you'll never forget. Well, I'll never forget this. My phone goes off, right, and it's our little group chat talking about, we lost Kobe. And so I'm looking at my phone, and I'm doing that thing where you look up and you're looking around and you're like, is everybody else seeing this shit? Like, am I crazy? Is this wrong? And then you start seeing other people doing the same thing, and literally no joke, the guy right next to me is doing the same thing as I am. We kind of catch each other's eyes at the same time, and I'm like, Kobe, and he's like, yeah, and the guy behind me is like, what about Kobe? Right? And I'm like, we lost him, man, and kind of tell him what happened, and then 2 rows down, you hear some lady, oh man, Kobe just, he just got passed by LeBron like 2 days ago. And the entire store is talking about the same thing at the same time. And it's wild to see something like that in Indianapolis where, man, the Pacers and the Lakers have had some battles. And there is just no love lost for the Lakers whatsoever. But for, a bunch of people, what a great sampling of folks just to be in a department store at the same time and the reaction that everybody was having at the same moment. It was just so surreal. It's just a huge loss, man. He touched so many lives that he, the guy, even if he lived to 100, he would still never really understand just how many lives he touched. But, to lose somebody like that is just, it's devastating on a lot of different levels.
Yeah, and I was talking with Allison. She asked me if I'd seen the Tracy McGrady interview about it. And apparently Tracy McGrady, I don't know if this is a recent interview or is there something that somebody pulled up, but Tracy McGrady said that Kobe had told him before he wanted to die young so he could be immortal.
Yep, I saw that as well.
Yeah, and that just, that's a crazy thing to think about. I mean, obviously he didn't plan running into a mountain. I mean, that had, nothing to do with it, but
of course.
It's crazy how that works, Yeah,
it is, and to say he didn't plan on it, it's pretty wild that him and his wife, they did have a pact that they would never ride in a helicopter together.
Yep.
Yeah.
He understood that it wasn't the safest thing, and it's a terrible shame that Sunday, there were 9 people lost, an entire family lost 3 folks. Kobe's family lost 2. And then there's people that are never going to have their father and their sisters and their brothers and something just so senseless. It's just a freak accident.
Yeah.
And that's
bringing up that they would never ride in a helicopter together. It's kind of funny you mentioned that. I was talking with an older guy I play golf with, and he brought it up that back in the day, like his family, they would always take 2 separate planes. It'd be him and like one of his brothers or sisters and his dad, and then his mom would go with his other sister or whatever, and they would always split them up.
Yep.
So the whole family didn't get taken out.
And it was for this, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's crazy how that happens. It's just back in the day, older society, like you didn't put your whole family on a plane.
No, especially not the males.
No, exactly. So I mean, it's kind of crazy how today. I mean, today is accepted that it's so safe to fly, which is way more safer than being in a car together, honestly.
Oddly enough, you're right.
Yeah, and and sadly, after the details started to come out, it seems like this was a pilot error. They should have never been in the air in the first place.
Sure.
And yeah, it's just really sad that this is how it went down. But
yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, and you're right. And back in the day, you would split up the males so that the family name would live on. But I think about it, and we heard the news from TMZ, correct?
Mm-hmm.
TMZ, yeah.
Can you imagine being anyone in any of those families and picking up your phone and seeing, oh, someone in my family just died in a helicopter accident?
Wait, what?
As reported by TMZ. How fucked is that, right? I can't imagine. I don't know, man. I'm a huge fan of having all the facts first before you start reporting news. Obviously, this is a podcast. It's not live, so whatever we say is going to get spit out into the ether sometime in the next 24 hours for people to hear. We're not breaking news. But people are just falling all over themselves to try to be the first. It's all about clicks. That's what society has come to, and that disgusted me.
And it was 5 people here, 7 people here. Then you finally heard the correct count of 9, and it's like, goodness gracious! Like it seemed like they weren't even trying to get everything right.
At one point, they said all 4 of his daughters were on board.
Sure. Yeah, I
read
that
there.
too.
I mean, and then Rick Fox was on it.
Oh.
Yeah, I've just got a massive problem with the way this whole thing was reported.
It's disrespectful
to the family.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that I just don't think that's good business. I think that's terrible. And like I said, it's all for clicks. And I'll tell you another thing that really got me fired up. And if you really want me to go on a freaking rampage, we can talk about this. But the WAPO reporter, that immediately started posting about the alleged rape that took place freaking decades ago.
It was like 30 minutes after he was reported dead. She posted that. Like, okay, you can bring that up and make a point if you want to, but not then. You know, I mean, and he was acquitted. So, and the prosecutors dropped the case. Listen, she was trying to get her #MeToo movement, and she was hoping to get a whole bunch of clicks, a whole bunch of followers. Well, she got her attention. She got her 15 minutes of fame. She's done after this. I mean, she's suspended, whatever. And a lot of other people followed her up after that, trying to get clicks and everything. But you're doing this for cheap clicks, which you make money in the short term, but you're not going to make money long term. It's bad business, 1, bad journalism, 2. I mean, why would you do that? You know, I mean, that story happened in 2003. It was already debunked.
It's done. And that's the thing that really gets me back to can you imagine being that kid picking up your phone and seeing that your father and your sister are dead? Can you imagine? Okay, you know, we live in an era where everybody's got a phone and it's in your face 24 hours a day. So whenever these you know, Kobe's kids find out and his wife finds out that they lost their father and their sister, and they pick up their phones because they're getting text messages and they're getting messages on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and mixed into all of that public outcry of, hey, you know, we're so sorry about your loss. You see this, right? Why are you the one with the knife sticking it in their back at that moment? Who are you? What are you thinking? You know, people like that. That's the reason why society just will take 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Mm-hmm. That is it right there in a nutshell. And that pissed me off so much when I saw that. Somebody should just tie her to the back of a horse and drag her down the road until she is dead. That fired me up so much, man. It's just terrible. Because in my mind, I've got a child. I've got an old lady, right? If it was me that went out, can you imagine somebody just deciding I'm going to dig up some dirt or make some shit up, right? I'm just going to put it out there because I'm going to get some clicks.
You can't do it yourself because you're dead.
Yeah, right?
Totally screwed up, man.
It's over. It's as over as it's going to be. You know, for that girl, whatever happened. And, you know, it was in 2003, so it was 17 years ago. You know, I would imagine that girl's probably moved on. Why are we talking about it?
Yeah, she got settlement.
Because again, like you said, the reporter wanted attention, like you said.
Absolutely.
And boy, did she get it.
I'm going to go viral. Yeah.
Boy, did she get it.
Well, you got it. And you're also going to have a hell of a time having any respect anybody ever again. She'll get a job. She got suspended. She didn't even get fired, right?
Yeah. Did you see why they said they suspended her?
Well, originally, now they've changed their story, but originally it was for posting an email address on a screenshot that she posted. They didn't even...
Because she said she was getting hate mail.
They didn't even go into the fact that, you know, what she said specifically was how wrong it was.
Yeah, she said she was getting hate mail and screenshot one of the email addresses.
Yeah, you can't do that.
There's nothing wrong with dragging a dead man's name through the dirt
30 minutes after the story breaks.
But you can't screenshot an email address.
No,
sir. That is just bad form.
Not at all.
So yeah, that's my soapbox performance of the evening. Man.
And I agree. I mean, Kobe's just one of those guys. He was liked worldwide. I mean, even Conor McGregor piped in and he's like, listen, in Ireland, we don't know a damn thing about basketball, but everybody knew who Kobe Bryant was, and that was for a reason.
Right.
I mean, they knew dick shit about the sport, but McGregor even, I mean, he was visibly upset, and I mean, the guy's Irish. He doesn't. Who cares? But
Right.
I mean,
Kobe
it's
is one of the most
amazing.
man. I mean, being basketball, dude. Everybody in China knows who Kobe Bryant is. That's 1.4 billion people. You know, everybody thinks being famous in the United States or Europe is a big deal, but literally, there's more people in China than there is in Europe and the United States. So,
of course, combined. Well, I'll tell you what else. I had the thought the other day. I was thinking about it, and I remember when I was a kid. I remember, you see these third world countries where people have almost nothing. And I remember when I was a kid, I saw a kid in I don't even know where it was. Doesn't even matter. But he was wearing a Michael Jordan jersey, right? And this is in 96. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, that kid doesn't have shit. He can barely feed himself. But he's got that Michael Jordan jersey, right?
yeah.
Kobe Bryant was the same dude. That was those kids, they wanted their Kobe Bryant jersey. If they were lucky enough to happen into one of those, that was the coolest thing that happened to a lot of kids.
Oh, yeah.
It just transcends the world of sports, man. There's very, very few people that have done it.
And that was the best part about him. He used his platform for the greatest things he could possibly do. I mean, it was a picture-perfect way for a person to use their platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the guy gave and gave and gave.
Just endlessly. And like Shane was talking about, it was also a pocket billionaire.
Oh, yeah. But my favorite story of all this so far has come from Luka Doncic from the Mavs. And he was talking about a month ago. There was some guy yelling at him in Slovenian, heckling him. And he's like, who the hell's heckling me in Slovenian? And he looked over, it was Kobe. Kobe had learned Slovenian heckling terms to mess with him.
Yep. Just so he would have that little nudge out of nowhere.
I mean, think about that. Like, that's the type of competitor he was. He was going to sit courtside. He can't play no mess with you. He still loved his Lakers,
Well, I mean, even the fact, I mean, let's just talk about, I mean, the helicopter was going to a basketball tournament that Kobe was in charge of. I mean, that gym was massive and was packed. I mean, the Mamba gym is like a temple.
I mean,
I'm looking through some of his charitable foundations. He's got the Kobe and Vanessa Bryant Family Foundation, and they work with youth. After School All-Stars, it's nonprofit for low-income children, right? They've got the Make-A-Wish Foundation that they're very heavily involved in. Stand Up to Cancer, the National Museum of African American History and Culture.
Well, let's just say you're a big name and you give a lot. If a major aftermarket reselling ticket organization is willing to give all the profits for the next Lakers-Clippers game to the Kobe Bryant Vanessa Foundation.
Yeah,
if you have that impact to where a ticket broker is willing to give up all their profits for your organization, you put that big of an impact on them, that is amazing for a company like that to be able to be like, hey, you can have everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible. I feel bad for everybody that was involved in that. All those families that were affected. Everybody just ends up talking about Kobe because he just touched a lot of lives, man. I've seen a lot of talk on Twitter and Facebook about, what about everybody else? It's a tragedy to everybody else, man. All those other families that were affected, it's terrible. But everybody doesn't know them. It's unfortunate, and I wish everybody did.
I think, more people actually know about them now because of them dying.
Absolutely.
Kobe.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And so if they want to start a scholarship fund for each one of those people that died or whatever they want to do, a charity, they're going to get a bunch of donations
For sure.
Because
absolutely.
If they want to do a GoFundMe, they'll all get a big thing now. I mean, people are trying to bash. Oh, what about these people? These people are still going to be taken care of.
Definitely.
You know.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah, no one's going to turn their back on anybody involved in that
it's not,
accident.
There's never going to, it's not going to be a, oh, well, you weren't Kobe, you're his daughter, so we don't care about you. That's not what everybody's saying. Everybody just knows who Kobe Bryant
is. Supposedly going to be a Hall of Fame JUCO baseball coach. I mean, it wasn't like he, you know, I mean, there's other people involved there. I mean, everybody was, you know, very important human beings.
Of course, like they were in a helicopter with Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, you just don't make the helicopter Kobe Bryant for being a nobody.
Yeah, I sure as hell wasn't on it. You know, I mean, shit.
They said that Kylie Jenner used to fly his helicopter all the time, even without him. Like he would just donate it or whatever. You know, so I mean, you got to be somebody to be on Kobe Bryant's helicopter. Unfortunately, this bad trip. You know. But,
yeah, I mean they were going to a basketball tournament, and you know the teammates were on board, his daughter was on board. They're all going to play, and it just sucks. I mean, it just flat out sucks.
And I want to say too, is this is what actually kind of impressed me as they were. I saw an interview. Forget where it was, but it was asking Kobe, like, you know, this is when he only had 2 daughters, and said, well, you know, you got to have a son to carry on the legacy. And his daughter Gigi goes, you don't need a son, I can handle it.
Yep.
You know,
right.
I mean, he did a lot for women's sports, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Huge proponent of women's sports. I mean, me personally, I actually am a huge proponent of women's sports, especially with basketball. If you want to learn fundamentals, you guys from Indiana, you probably appreciate this with Hoosiers and everything. Literally, the most fundamental basketball on the planet is women's basketball. Because it has, you can't just go out jump somebody. You can't just be more physical. I mean, literally, the actual playbook and women's than it does in men's.
I agree. Yeah, they rely on those fundamentals a whole lot more versus just. But anyway, yeah, you're 100% correct, without a doubt.
So yeah, losing Kobe, man. You know, R.I.P. Mamba. It's terrible.
Yeah, Mamba mentality.
Yeah, I mean, I think the effect is, though, I mean, his hustle, his intensity, everything is going to inspire people further on in life.
I mean, Justin Thomas has all of his clubs engraved with, like, Mamba mentality, Kobe. I mean, it just...
Well, you saw he hit that one shot. He said Kobe before he hit it. Woods dominated it.
Yeah, but that was, 4 or 5 years ago.
Literally, still going to say Kobe anytime I shoot something.
Absolutely.
You know, long track, doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah. It's been a thing for a long time. It'll continue to be.
And it should be.
Did see something now, though. There are people posted online that pick up basketball instead of 21, you go to 24. And
that if you miss, you go back to 8.
I'm all in favor of that. I think it's fantastic. And they're petitioning to have the NBA logo change to Kobe from Jerry West.
Yeah.
Which favor of.
I'm cool with that. Update it.
They said they got 1.7 million signatures. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
There are very few people that are going to come through in our lifetimes that are going to be just well respected and known worldwide as Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what my favorite thing about Kobe Bryant was, probably, honestly, and this is, something that I don't really hear a lot of people say. That guy spent 20 years in LA, man.
Yeah. Dedication.
That guy was not, he didn't start in Cleveland and then say, oh, man, this place fucking sucks. I'm going to go to Miami. And then be like, oh, man, this kind of fucking sucks now because I'm not the fucking coolest guy on the block. I'm going to go back to fucking Cleveland. Oh, man, Cleveland sucks again. Oh, man, I'm going to go to fucking L.A. now. Nah, dude. No. He just got straight up drafted to L.A.
Well,
he went to L.A.
He actually did not get drafted by L.A. He got drafted by, if I remember correctly, Charlotte, then traded. But that was all set in the works, fine. But, yeah.
So he started in L.A.
Absolutely.
Stayed in L.A.
Oh.
And I think there's an awful lot to be said about a guy that sticks to it, thick and thin with the ball club.
Especially when they were terrible.
Yeah, I mean, they spent a lot of years not good.
Well, look at us last year. I mean, my God. They won 16 games.
And think about it, though. Spent 20 years in LA and didn't become an asshole.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right?
Didn't let it get to him.
How about that, man?
That's impressive. Most people spend about 3 minutes in LA and think
Yeah, I flew through LAX one time and I came back a complete fucking dick. I didn't even get off the plane. I stayed on it, and some people got off and some more people got on.
Oh, well, there you go. They brought the attitude with them.
And I swear to God, they just brought in LA water on that plane, and I just turned into a fucking prick. So I still am. I can't get rid of it. It's just a.
So
It's just
that's
a
what
thing.
it is.
Yeah, I was
Son
like,
of a bitch.
I was 9, and then here we are. Yeah, fuck that place. Anyhow,
But yeah, good point though, Shane. I mean, he stayed grounded the entire 20 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and change the subject now because my feels are all hurt. Sunday also was the WWE Royal Rumble, and we touched on it Thursday in our podcast. And I'll tell you what,
So Dan,
you guys nailed it.
Yeah, we got the biggest prediction of the night down.
You guys nailed it. Shane, what were you saying, buddy?
well, yeah, we did get the biggest prediction down. We called Edge.
Yep.
You're welcome, people.
Yep.
Short Bus helps out immensely with that one. Shout out the bus.
Yep.
But Dan, did you watch the Royal Rumble?
I did watch the Royal Rumble.
Now, have we turned you on to wrestling again yet? Are you coming back? Because you used to watch back in the Attitude Era.
I think, I'll tell you what I think. I felt like I was literally turning the TV on 10 years ago. It's the same story. It's just different guys. It was weird because I could see certain characters that were just basically the same characters, just a new guy doing it. So am I back to it? I wouldn't say I'm back. I'd say I'm intrigued. I can appreciate a good story. One thing I was super disappointed in was, Don talked a lot about the fact that they had 27 guys that they had already released who were going to be involved in it. There were only 3 wild cards. There were no real big surprises. I was kind of waiting on that moment to where you're going to be like, oh, shit, that guy's here. Something's about to happen. Never happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for a non-wrestling fan, there weren't any. There was no Conor McGregor. There was no Tyson Fury like that. But there was Edge, and if you're a wrestling fan, Edge is huge, man. I'm telling you.
I will agree with that. And I think that if we hadn't done our podcast on Thursday, I would have been shocked.
But that's also part of the downside of that, I think, as well. That was the most predictable one out of anything that we could have talked about. That was the most predictable one, and obviously the biggest one. But again, when they announced however many weeks ago, it was 3 weeks, a month, whatever, that he got medically cleared, they showed their hand.
Right. Because whenever I was watching it, he was involved. And I like the guy, and he's fun to watch, man. He's super fun to watch. So that was cool. If I wasn't involved in this podcast, I would have been like, oh shit. But I think I was just kind of tipped off, and so it didn't hit me as hard.
I guess we spoiled it in advance for you.
Yeah, which is fine.
Well, that's good for us, though. We did know the storyline before the fact. So
right.
And
sitting here watching it, the last 3 or 4 minutes, Don was basically like, all right, this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen. This guy's going to get thrown out. This guy's going to win. And as he's saying it, it's happening. And I was like, damn.
Well, that's part of the fun of it, Dan, is kind of knowing what's going to happen.
Yes and no. I mean, they did a great job of
They always surprise you sometimes, but part of being a wrestling fan is you talk with each other, you try to predict what's going to happen. And so Don was basically saying what was going to happen, what he thought was going to happen. Now, did it happen that way? Possibly. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah,
but
it happened. It was actually kind of creepy.
Oh, I was calling it shot for shot, Shane.
Yeah. But you know what? Overall, I'll tell you what, man.
Well, that's how it is.
From what I remember, especially growing up as a kid, like you saw a lot of really good athletes out there, right? These guys now, dude, Brock Lesnar's what, 42 years old? He's 42 years old. And he physically threw 13 people over the top rope. I don't care if you like Brock Lesnar or you don't like Brock Lesnar. The character, the person, doesn't matter. Don't give a shit. That's impressive.
Dude's 42.
That dude is an animal. An animal.
And the thing is, like, that's why wrestling today is more, okay, it's always been sports entertainment. But you look at the people that are involved now, the athleticism and most of these guys, the stuff they're doing is way more impressive than the stuff they were doing even 10 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
You got guys that, man, that jumping and flipping off the top rope and landing on somebody ain't fake.
Dude, like Ricochet?
Yeah, Ricochet's the man.
That guy is wild.
The only downside is we don't have the moves have improved, but the characters have taken a backward slide, in my opinion, versus direct comparison to the Attitude Era. I mean, that's why they're still using guys like Edge. They have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
the development of characters. That's one thing I did notice. Like I said, it seemed like it was the same story, the same characters, just different guy playing those roles. But I don't know, man. I guess whenever you're at it for so many years, you eventually just kind of run out of storylines. I don't know. I'm not sure. The dynamic of having the women involved now is completely different from what I'm used to when I was growing up watching it, and I like it. I think it's pretty cool, man. It does add a different dynamic to it.
Damn, because I remember how the Attitude Era was. You had lingerie matches and stuff like that. The women weren't actually considered athletes; they were basically models.
They were showpieces.
Sure.
Now they're still very beautiful women, but doing flips, they're doing the same stuff the guys are doing, the same moves. You know, for the most part. You know, I mean, you got Charlotte doing crazy moves off the top rope that before wouldn't even been allowed for a woman to do because it's too dangerous, and now she's doing the moonsaults.
Yeah, she's doing moonsaults out to the apron nightly.
Yeah,
tables.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So the level of athleticism, noticeably better, and I think that alone is enough to bring me back. Because there were a lot of times where I was watching it, and you can tell that and Don's kind of describing to me the intricacies of how everything works as far as the scripting and when guys know when, hey, don't hit me, I'm fucked up right now, or hey, bring it on, let's do this. But man, there are probably 5 or 6 different times when I said, "Oh God, that had to have hurt." Like those guys. Jesus, man.
Like Daniel Bryan's match.
Yeah,
dude got the shit beat out of him.
Fucking leather strap. That's why I don't have strap matches that much. But Daniel Bryan, oh my God, I would love to see what his back looked like.
Oh my God, I don't want to see it.
Terrible.
No, that's
terrible.
He can't put a shirt on for at least 4 or 5 days.
Terrible.
I mean, he's black and blue. So people are like, oh, it's not real. Nah.
Bullshit.
It's super real. It's just scripted.
Yeah, it's scripted entertainment, and that's how you have to look at it. It's not fake. It's scripted.
Yeah. You can't put the word fake out there.
That's the beauty now is wrestling has had to adapt because of the strong style coming in from Japan. So a lot of these guys, especially that come over from Japan, have no problem taking a hit in the face. A lot of these guys will take punches just to sell it.
Right.
And so it's not like before where like you throw a punch, like, dude, it's HD cameras, it's all on you. You actually got to hit the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can sell it however you want to, but you're still getting hit. It ain't.
Yeah, and you're talking about like, dude, you got a guy like Brock Lesnar out there that's got canned hams for hands.
Yeah.
Have fun. Have fun. That's dude.
As you look at Becky Lynch last year, that's what made her run. The biggest thing is Nia Jax came in, broke her nose. It was on accident, but her having blood coming out of her mouth is still complete in the match, even with the concussion.
Yeah.
That's how she got her big pop, and WWE had to give her a belt. Actually, two of them, I guess. But
Right. Yeah, it's hard not to cheer for somebody like that, isn't it?
yeah, because you don't expect that, and yeah, she took that hit. I mean,
Man.
it wasn't.
So how did you feel about the way the whole thing turned out? I mean, I obviously I didn't have any kind of invested interest in this going into it. So my opinion, at the end of the day, doesn't really mean anything. The entertainment value is what I was looking for. But the way the whole Royal Rumble ended up, how did you feel about it?
I'm actually excited about it. I, Drew McIntyre versus Brock. I'm down. I love to see that. Two behemoths going against each other. Um, I think it's gonna be a hell of a match at Mania. I think Drew McIntyre is probably gonna pull it off. They're gonna finally give him because Brock is good at putting people over. I don't know if you watched that match, but when he got Claymore kicked outside the ring and he sold it for like another like minute and a half, like he was really fucked up. That
Yeah.
was and so I think that was him putting over Drew McIntyre as the next guy. And he's had it coming for a while. Drew McIntyre is an absolute freak of an athlete, huge, huge man,
Sure.
and he's super athletic, can do a lot of the athletic moves on top of it, the jumps and everything. So I think that's gonna be a hell of a match. I think McIntyre is gonna end up getting the title at Mania, and Brock always will be around. He'll probably challenge whoever else has a Universal title after that, because he's Brock Lesnar. He can challenge whoever he wants and get it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think they're going to give McIntyre title. I think they're going to give it to him. So I think it's good. Charlotte Flair, interested to see who she challenges. John, you said the rumor she's going to challenge
Rhea Ripley.
NXT. The what?
Yeah, she's going to challenge Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, that was the rumor. I saw that rumor as well. I still think she's going to go after Bailey, and then you'll end up having Becky fight somebody random at Mania, whether it be a Rousey come out or somebody like that. Now, maybe if they want to promote the NXT brand, it does happen with Ripley, but I don't know, Dom. What do you think?
You and I are complete opposites on this one. I thought I thought overall the Rumble was slightly better than terrible. They built the entire first half around Brock Lesnar, and then he signals when he takes his gloves off, "Hey, I've had enough." They kick him out, and at that point, you might as well just stop the damn match and be like, "Here you go, Drew." I mean,
Yeah.
it was cool to watch the next 15 people, but at the same point, you build all that up and then kill it halfway through. The momentum of the match was shot.
Well, I don't know. They threw Edge in, they threw in KO, they threw in Rollins. I mean,
Agreed, but
and so with all those guys in there, you don't know that he's going to win.
bullshit.
I heard that they pulled an audible and actually had him win. It was originally,
I understand they did, but they pulled the audible before the show started, which meant he was still supposed to win when the show started. So once he'd made that elimination, game over.
yeah, but we didn't know that.
Bullshit. That was oh my god, if you didn't put two and two together with that one, what were you watching?
But
I mean that ruined it as far as you knew Kane wasn't coming back. You knew Rollins wasn't getting involved.
the last five was what? Rollins, Roman, KO, McIntyre, and Edge.
Yeah.
I mean, that still throws some up in the air because either one of those guys
Nope.
could have done Mania.
Nope. You got to look at it storyline wise. You can't put one of them in this story when you've already been building on McIntyre for how long now? And the problem with that is you got a heel versus an asshole. That's really not the greatest combination as far as trying to make a good story out of it.
McIntyre a fucking face for a minute.
No, there's no way.
You didn't watch that last night on Raw? Oh my God, he was about to cry. Come on, he's a face now.
No way. And along with that, I don't think they're going to give him the belt. I think they're still setting up long-term Kane versus Brock to hand over. I don't think they're going to give McIntyre the belt.
Well, it'll be entertaining to see. Is that there's that Saudi show coming up? Do they make Brock defend and maybe strip the belt from him there, and then he gets to re-go after somebody?
Well, are they doing the greatest Royal Rumble there?
Well, I'm not sure what they're doing this time. Let's see. What do we got the next Saudi show?
I think it's next month or March, one of the two.
Yeah.
And along with what you're talking about, as far as Charlotte winning, cool. I'm fine with that. I honestly felt like there were better surprises in the women's match versus the men's match as far as who came out of that tunnel, though. The entertainment value was definitely there with the women. I mean, it was a good show.
Oh, yeah. They are going to be in Saudi Arabia on the 27th of February.
Yeah, the Super Showdown. So it didn't look like it's another Rumble. So I think they're going to have actual just matches done. Would it surprise you if they had Brock randomly drop the belt to somebody?
Nah, you got to think Brock's had the belt, probably, and I'm just guessing it, it's probably, a year and a half now? I mean, with him being on his contract, I'm pretty sure he has to have the belt, however much percentage of what he appears.
Universal. He lost to Universal, then he picked up a WWE from Kofi.
Yeah, so, but I mean, even before that, though, I mean, it was his, then he got it right back, seemed like just days later. I mean, for the past X amount of years, they've been promoting nothing but him, and I think they put so much into it to where I don't think they can flip on it yet.
Oh, shit. They're actually having, they have WWE Super Showdown, and then literally a week later, they have Elimination Chamber.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. They have 2 pay-per-views within like a week.
Oh, yeah, because you got to think the Saudi shows were never originally on the schedule, and they used to have one a month. So, makes sense.
Yeah. So, we may get some. There's a chance that some titles could change in those 2 pay-per-views.
I will throw my 2 cents in, though. That Becky Lynch and Asuka match was bullshit. There was no point in having that match. Everybody knew that they weren't going to give Asuka the belt and give her 2 belts. I mean, that was just a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
That felt like a filler.
And it was. And it was to the point to where even from your perspective, you came in 10 years fresh, and you even had that perspective.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
No, that match was pretty boring. I'm not going to lie. I will say, though, probably aside from the actual Rumble matches, my favorite match had to have been the Daniel Bryan versus The Fiend, the strap match. I mean, the strap match is good.
Entertainment value, yes, but storyline, it was bullshit again because I would have, if I would have been able to bet actual money on is The Fiend going to win, I would have bet my house on it. There's no way they're going to strip him of the title at this point.
Totally agree. But, we're going for entertainment value here, Don.
Sure. Again, that's why I worded it the way I worded it. Entertainment value was fantastic. Script, it was bullshit.
So anything about the script? Did you enjoy the guy beating some other guy with a leather strap?
Yes. Now, what did irritate me is if you're gonna go through the trouble of throwing someone in a porta potty and tipping it over, they better come out with something on him. Baron Corbin came out cleaner than the day he was born. Come on, if you're gonna set it all up that way, go through with at least faking something versus him just coming out like, oh, got tipped over, nothing happened.
Some fake poops.
Yeah, I mean, do something. I mean, come on. You even had the damn thing on a platform with wheels so Roman could tip it over. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's funny because Don made a comment afterwards. We were talking about it. We were kind of recapping it just between the two of us. And he said, it's pretty obvious that Vince McMahon's mind is somewhere else. It's pretty clear that he doesn't really have his thumb on the WWE right now, right?
Control.
What's that?
Well,
He's at the XFL. Is that what you said?
That he's worried about the XFL. He's on cruise control right now.
And that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Is it's blatantly obvious that Vince McMahon is not involved in the storylines.
Yeah. And I had the same thought because I
turned over Raw storylines to
Heyman
a while ago. It would not surprise me. I forget who he turned SmackDown over to. It was somebody else though that was important. So I mean, to do that, he probably had executive control over what the matches were going to be at this pay-per-view, but I don't think he really, dude, launched an XFL.
Yeah. Hey, Shane.
Yeah.
we gotta talk about something real quick. This was not planned. Sorry, but this needs to be talked about because it's going to be talked about. This is baseball related. Mookie Betts counters Red Sox offer of 10 years, $300 million, and he countered it with he wants 12 years, $420 million.
Right?
Champion. Who is Mookie Betts' agent? I love him.
I know, right?
Oh my God. I hope to God it was my former agent. I have no idea who Mookie Betts' agent is, but if it is,
oh, we gotta look that up.
Yeah, 12 years, he's like, nah, I want 12 years, 420. Sorry.
If his agent is Hollywood, oh my God, I fucking love it.
Let's see.
My old agent literally is like the number 2 guy in the game. I pray to God that is the counter game.
Steve Veltman.
Nah, it's not mine. Damn it. That's impressive though. The balls on that guy.
So sorry for that quick interruption, but yeah, holy shit.
Who is your agent?
Mine was a guy named Jamie Appel.
No, he's got a co-agent thing. Ed Sorello and Steve Veltman. I'm probably butchering.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, just a quick note. That's just cuckoo bird talk.
It was 10 years, $300 million. So that's $30 million a year. And he countered with what?
12 years, 420. Yeah. He said, yeah, I'll go ahead and throw in another 2 years, 120.
You had about $5 million a year and added 2 years. Champion. I love it.
Dude, that is wild.
So aside from that crazy news, MLB is pretty based upon trades and stuff right now. But how about we talk about the NFL and the Pro Bowl and the QB Skills Challenge and all that good stuff that happened over the weekend? Kind of took a back burner to all the other events that that we were actually interested in. Because me personally, I give 2 shits about the Pro Bowl, but hey, whatever.
Well, the reason why nobody really cares about the Pro Bowl is because there's no.
It doesn't matter.
It just doesn't matter. Like it was kind of the same thing with the All-Star game. Nobody really watched the MLB All-Star game outside of the home run derby.
Yep.
Until they kind of made it to where whoever wins gets home team advantage in the series, right?
Yeah. All of a sudden you started seeing pitching.
And now, then all of a sudden you start seeing people, oh shit, this is important.
Yeah. Game 7's a big deal.
But yeah, I mean the Pro Bowl's just kind of turned into it's a joke. it's a joke. 2-hand touch, anyone?
Oh my God. It was absolute 2-hand touch. It was terrible. Oh
yeah.
my God. Like, remember when Adrian Peterson got bitched at for actually playing in the Pro Bowl and he ran for 300 yards?
Yeah. What are you thinking? Why are you trying? Stop that. You're going to hurt somebody.
Yeah, or yourself.
Maybe it should be almost like the NBA. The end of the year, they do all offensive, all defensive player of the year, blah, blah, blah. Maybe she just make it that. I mean,
they have a defensive player in the year in the NBA still? They don't play defense.
I'll tell you, what's his defense you speak of in the NBA? What's his defense?
Yeah.
Well, now Luka Doncic just wins it every year, and they asked him how he felt about winning. He goes, "Oh, it's so much easier to play defense here than in Europe." So,
I'll tell you, yeah, he's not from here. He's not used to lazy asses being on the other end of it, just letting you shoot. And
he's also the only one playing defense. Good for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So the skills challenge came up. Lamar Jackson steps up. Everybody's new quarterback darling. The guy that's just, he's just so so
the MVP,
good.
the
He
MVP,
is undoubtedly 100% the best player in football anywhere ever. And he goes out there and doesn't hit a target for somewhere around 40 seconds.
He hit like 2 targets. I think.
He had
he had 2
points. What the fuck is that?
I don't want to talk about that. You guys keep talking about this. I have to take a slight break. I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about dodgeball. So,
all right. Yeah. I mean, my take on Lamar Jackson is he had a fine year, had a really solid team around him until he got to the playoffs, got exposed. You're talking about a guy.
He's a great running back with a decent arm.
I suppose if you want to steal my lines.
Yeah, I am. I'm stealing. Dan came up with that logic, and I agree with it. 100%.
The guy ran for 1,200 yards this year.
That's crazy.
Okay, he ran for 1,200 yards. Do you know how many yards he threw for?
No, I don't. How many?
Well, let's just take a look here and find out. 3,127 yards.
So more than a third. So I mean, every 3 plays you can count on him just tucking and running.
Basically.
So as an NFL quarterback, that's just long term. That's not good for anybody.
It's not. I mean, and that's the thing. It's you see this every year. You see a guy come into the league and he just absolutely blows up, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, this guy's fantastic, Vince Young." And then all of a sudden, everybody just has about 6 months to figure him out.
Cam Newton.
And then Cam Newton happens and gets hurt and is never. I don't even know what he's doing. Working on his hat collection. I'm not sure.
No, he's blaming Ron Rivera.
Cam Newton. Oh man, they said that.
I just
absolute.
Yeah.
They said they want to see a full absolute workout, and it's probably gonna be in March, and they'll decide what the Panthers are gonna do. Yeah, be entertaining to see.
This was the. Hold on, go back. That was the Panthers that want to do a workout with them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they want to do a full workout. So that's scroll across the screen today.
Right. Okay. Well, we're having this conversation about Lamar Jackson being an above. Well, he's a decent running back with an above average arm.
Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and say Lamar Jackson is a good quarterback. Now, is he what everybody in the league wanted to hype him up as? No. He threw for 300 yards one time, entire regular season. That was against the Dolphins in Week 1.
Yeah, which Dolphins defense Week 1? Yeah, good luck.
He also threw for 300 yards in the playoffs when they were down, and he threw, I think, 2 interceptions and fumble ones, I believe. So
here's a pop quiz for you. Do you know who led the league in passing yards this year?
Jameis Winston.
You know how many touchdowns he had?
30.
33.
And 30 interceptions.
30 is actually the number of interceptions he had.
Yeah, 30 and 30.
I knew he was 30 for 30. I couldn't remember exactly the number of touchdowns.
33 and 30. And let's just go ahead and
go.
If
I told you, if I had to choose which quarterback to build a franchise around, Lamar Jackson or Jameis Winston, I would choose Jameis Winston.
You know what I would choose? And I was actually thinking about that. As you were saying it, I had the same thought.
Neither.
I would probably choose the fucking draft.
Yeah, neither.
I just can't. The reason why, while you stepped away, we were talking about Cam Newton was because I made the point that every year some cat comes out and he is just a freaking world beater, and everybody's like, oh my God, this guy is amazing. Hall of Famer, and then all of a sudden everybody has about 6 months to figure him out. And then the next thing you know, he's Cam Newton working on his hat collection. Nothing else to do.
Well, there's something you're missing here about Cam Newton, Dan. I actually think Cam Newton is a great athlete, and I think he's a fantastic quarterback. This is a fun fact. Do you know what the difference between Cam Newton 2 years ago and now is?
What's that?
Do you know why he looks like a cancer patient?
Why is that?
He went vegan.
so, that was dumb.
Look it up. Listen, you can go vegan if you want to be a housewife and
but not
so
a fucking NFL quarterback.
what's the name? I think it's McCoy, Gerald McCoy, the defensive tackle, was going to go vegan with him. And after the first month, he lost 50 pounds on his bench press and said, fuck that. You know?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is
So,
okay. Hold on. Cam Newton's only been vegan since February of 2019.
So a year.
Yeah. Well, he played fine last year when he played.
When did he even play last year?
When did he play last year?
No, not in
the year
2019.
before last. He was not vegan.
Yeah, no,
you haven't even seen him play vegan yet.
Yeah, he played like 4 games this year.
Oh, so we saw him play as a vegan, get hurt, and then
blame Ron Rivera for everything while they threw him under the bus,
and then never return.
Cam Newton, let's see, is 2018.
Yeah, Cam Newton played in 2 games. He was 50 for 89, threw for 572 yards, had a touchdown, 1 touchdown, and 6 interceptions.
There you go. Those are solid NFL numbers.
He had 14 games, 2018, threw for 3,400 yards, 24 TDs, 13 interceptions.
Terrible.
You know, that's not terrible. I mean, that's about mid-range.
That's less than 2 TDs a game.
Look, hold on. Let's just first of all,
he threw for 24 TDs in 14 games in 18.
Yeah, and that's fine. But let's just to be a actual legit.
But he weighs like 220 or 210 now.
I don't care. None of that matters. None of that matters. What matters is if you are actually a quarterback.
Not at all.
And if you don't throw for over 4,000 yards or right around that number,
terrible.
You know, okay, here, just as an example, these are the quarterbacks that threw for over 4,000 yards this year. Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, Wentz, Carr, Brady, Wilson, Ryan, Rivers, Goff, Dak Prescott, and Jameis Winston. Okay? That is your top tier of quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. After that, it falls off hard. Jimmy Garoppolo, he was just shy of 4,000. Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins. It's getting worse and worse as we get down.
That motherfucker is not that good.
Who's that?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
He's good enough not to lose games.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's what matters. He's not throwing 30 picks, right? He's moving the ball down the field, and that's what matters. He's not putting his defensive in bad situations. That's what matters, right? That's why you can say Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards this year. That's great. He also threw for 30
picks.
Threw 30 picks, man. He threw the ball 626 times.
I got no problem with taking a risk, but you better be able to score. You better have more touchdowns than you do picks.
By a lot.
Yeah, he had it by 3.
By a lot. And then the other thing that you got to look at, you know, and these stats that I'm spitting out right now don't really say anything. But what they don't tell you is where were you at on the field when you threw that pick? You know, were you inside the other team's 20? Were you inside your own 20? You know, how bad of a situation did you set your defense up for? And,
I mean, you know, honestly,
that's why I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Lamar Jackson's numbers, and dude, I mean, he threw 36 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He took care of the ball really, really well. Really, really well. But, man, when it came down to it, he was number 22 in yards passing.
But look, the AFC
guys threw for more yards.
Was super down in defense this year, dude. The whole AFC was down in defense this year.
Well, how about this? The entire NFL is down on defense because that's the way they want it to be.
Yeah, but AFC was extraordinarily bad this year.
Do you realize that there was a point in this season about 5 weeks in where the Patriots defense had scored more touchdowns as a defense than they had given up? And then all of a sudden the NFL said, wait a second, this ain't happening. And it just completely fell on its face. No one got hurt. Nothing like that happened. It just stopped. It just all of a sudden their defense just wasn't good anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, XFL.
Y'all hail the XFL. Yes.
XFL.
So anyway, back to my point of this situation that we're talking about with Lamar Jackson. He had 2 points in the quarterback skills competition. The guy had a minute to rack up points. He didn't score a point for 40 seconds.
Listen,
Don't tell me he's the best back in the NFL. If you can't throw the ball, you're not a quarterback.
It's the Ravens. I bet Tennessee on the money line that game for a reason.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I won.
It's just the NFL. So, anyway, that's my rant on Lamar Jackson.
Henry and you had Lamar Jackson against each other. And guess what? Derrick Henry is an absolute freak of nature. And even with Ryan Tannehill, who I think is an absolute G, he's not the greatest ever, but he at least is going to play smart football and put you in position to win. Right. And Derrick Henry is an absolute stud horse. All you got to do is be able to throw for 100 yards, and he's going to get 200. Yeah. You know? Which is kind of like Lamar Jackson did in most games. He'd throw for 180 and run for 200. So, I mean, it's the same deal.
Well, I'm not a believer. I'll tell you what, man. I am not a believer. I believe very firmly that next year Lamar Jackson's going to fall off dramatically, and I think that everybody's going to be like, "Oh God, what happened?"
Well, it's not going to happen. He's going to be Michael Vick. He's going to have phenomenal regular season numbers, so everybody starts trying at the end of the year and in the playoffs, and they're going to beat him up.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think he's gonna be a star quarterback.
I think he's gonna end up getting hurt because he's moving around outside the pocket too much.
That's an outside of running it so much.
Vic did that forever. He put up great numbers and they get eliminated first round playoffs because
he's not Michael Vick, bro.
Well, speaking of getting hurt, I'm gonna move on. I'm tired of talking about Lamar Jackson. I don't really care about that guy. But speaking of getting hurt, let's talk for a second about Stephen A. Smith.
Oh God.
Oh.
He's gonna get hurt.
Oh yeah.
Before we get in this, I want to say he did do a great tribute to Kobe. Get that out the way. Good job, Stephen A. on that. But man, he's going at getting McGregor now.
I will say this. If you are talking pure entertainment value, Stephen A. Smith is a master. That man has figured out how to just talk like a complete maniac and piss people off most of the time. He's made a career out of it. It's genius.
It works when you go against somebody that is at an even or close to playing field as you for earning potential company.
Right. And it works when you are inside that bubble of knowledge that you have acquired over your life and your career, and you know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
But once you get outside of that little comfort zone and you start talking about something that you're not 100% on, you're treading in really, really interesting waters. And that's what he did when he started talking about Cowboy Cerrone quit.
Wait, what?
No. He said Cowboy Cerrone quit. That fight. That's why it was such a terrible fight. It had nothing to do with Conor McGregor being back or anything like that.
No. Yep. Cowboy just quit. And dude, I don't know if maybe Stephen A just flipped off that pay-per-view as soon as they waved that fight over, and he didn't have a chance to see Cowboy's face and his broken nose and his broken orbital.
He was ringside.
Yeah. Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well then I guess he's fucking blind. Because that's not quitting. Yeah. That's just getting your ass handed to you.
Yeah, the longest medical suspension on that card was, guess what? Cowboy.
Weird.
By far, Cowboy. Even versus a completely torn ACL.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is my favorite case ever. Normally Stephen A gets away with saying radical shit because it still sells and makes money.
Correct.
Well, he that good old famous rat, good old Mickey, came down.
Yep.
Well, hey, little buddy. Let me tell you, this money that's coming in for you is nothing. Joe Rogan and Conor McGregor bringing billions of dollars in a fight. Yeah, that's what happened.
Man,
I don't know. Mickey that's all I got.
I've never heard such a giant man impersonate a mouse before.
And you're right. And you would think that after he just said some shit offhand, and people in the MMA community are like, "Oh, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about." He decided he was going to go ahead,
keep going
with it.
He doubled down.
And he doubles down. He goes after Joe Rogan, who I mean, you're talking about a cat that, I mean, for one, he was a Taekwondo state champion a couple times, I believe. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's been calling UFC fights since the very beginning.
He's been practicing for over 20 years.
The guy is, as far as people with a brain that contains knowledge
and firsthand knowledge
of the UFC and mixed martial arts in general, usually that's a guy people just don't question. Unless you're Stephen A. Smith.
Yep.
Then you double down. And you tell him, no, Joe Rogan, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Even after Conor McGregor jumps in and says, you know what, Stephen A. Smith? You're wrong.
And he told him to apologize.
Yeah. And Stephen A. Smith, that was when he doubled down. He's like, nope, I'm right.
Man.
I'll at least give Stephen A. credit for believing what he's saying, but he's absolutely wrong.
This is an example of stay in your lane.
It's an example of, man, sometimes we all just say stupid shit.
And you got to get called out on it.
And if you say something dumb and you're wrong, own it.
Own it. I'm probably going to have that happen multiple times on this podcast, probably at least 10,000 over the years.
Oh, all of us will. I mean,
it's just part of life.
And
that's how you grow.
But since I did fuck up, I'll ask for my sponsorship of beer. I'm actually going to call out a sponsor at this point in time. Bud Light. You can be a sponsor of my fuck ups.
This fuck up is sponsored by Bud Light because I'm too drunk to know facts. Hey, I mean, there's a reason for everything. It just so happens that the reason for most of Shane's fuck ups is Bud Light. It is what it is, man. But yeah, man, I mean, that's how you grow as a person. Like, you do or say something stupid, you get called out, you fucking own it, and then you adjust fire and you go a different direction.
But he's not going to learn from it. He refuses to learn from it.
The guy's an idiot.
He's in complete denial that anything he said about this whole subject is wrong.
He's an idiot.
And even to say, whereas if he catches, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but he said something about if he throws his right hand and connects, Joe's basically going to go to sleep.
No, that I can't substantiate that. That's a rumor. If you did say that, what's that?
That was a rumor, but
yeah,
if that is what was said, I will pay for that pay-per-view.
But I mean, that'll never happen. Joe Rogan could kill that guy. Plain and simple.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't happen purely because Joe Rogan wouldn't do it.
Agreed, but I mean, Rogan's not going to do it, period.
No, it wouldn't be. Why would
it be worth his time?
Right. Look, if I'm Joe Rogan and I have got 1,000,001 things going on and I've got a really good reputation.
Yeah.
How old is Stephen A. Smith? Anybody know how old Stephen A. Smith is?
Gotta be mid-50s.
Here, I'll get him. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's...
I mean, Joe Rogan's no spring chicken either, but Joe Rogan also works out like a maniac.
Have you ever seen him kick? Stephen A. Smith's 52.
Yeah, have you ever seen Joe Rogan kick a bag?
So they're almost basically the same age. But do you think that Joe Rogan and Stephen A. Smith are anywhere close to being in the same...
I'm terrified of Joe Rogan kicking.
There's no way, dude. Well, I mean, if you've seen Joe Rogan's kicks, then you've seen Stephen A. Smith punch people in the penis.
And then to get the uppercut, though.
And then the uppercut.
The ball punch, then the uppercut.
Right. It looked like he was punching infants. Like, I don't know what that was. Shane, did you see that video?
I did see the video, and I'm still, like, it reminded me of, what's the movie, Will Ferrell, where he's running for office, and he punches the baby? The Campaign, I think it was. Like he's preparing to punch the baby in the face on the ground, the toddler.
I mean, what is going on there? Okay, if you're gonna talk some shit and you're gonna be wrong, why would you follow it up with that video?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, you literally, that was probably the most searched video and probably one of the most made fun of videos. Oh my God, that was just terrible.
The only thing that I can really figure out is I think Stephen A. Smith might have the coronavirus, and I think it's affecting his brain.
Absolutely positive. Either found. You know, him and AB both got it, coronavirus.
You think that's what it is? You think AB's got the coronavirus?
Guaranteed coronavirus. Oh my God, he should be quarantined. That's why the judge put him in house arrest. The corona.
It all makes sense now. It all makes sense now. And that's why Stephen A. Smith was practicing punching children and babies. He's got to keep those kids away from him. Don't want to get them sick.
Maybe he's worried about the coronavirus, you know, because, I mean, the Chinese people are smaller. So.
Is it racist?
Well, that's not racist. They're shorter than most average people, including Stephen A. Smith.
Yao Ming is not. Yao Ming begs to differ.
Hey, wait a second. Are you saying I'm more likely to get it? Damn it, Shane.
No, I said Chinese people are shorter than Stephen
I'm shorter than you. What are you trying to say, bro?
That has nothing to do with that. I'm just saying that
has everything to do with it.
Is this mistake? Is this brought to you by Bud Light?
Yes, it is. What Yao Ming? What about Yao Ming, right? Yeah. Well, you know what Yao Ming and the coronavirus have in common?
What's that?
They were both made in a lab in China.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Timestamp 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 9 seconds. Shane Funk absolutely destroys Yao Ming. Oh my good Lord.
Well played, Shane.
What just happened?
I just
Oh, that's terrible. I am so glad I'm here to hear that. Wow.
Well, they said it came from a lab in damn China, so I mean, where else did they get a 7'5" in China?
I don't know. You make a compelling case. I just don't want to admit it. Oh my God. So much Bud Light. So much Bud Light.
Oh my God. Right. Yeah. Coronavirus. What's even funnier, it's called coronavirus. And they say alcohol kills it.
Alcohol kills it?
Yeah.
Where did you read this?
It was online. Apparently, okay, maybe it's just from sales, whatever, but alcohol kills the coronavirus, ironically.
Okay, well, now I have to look this up.
I'm actually Googling Yao Ming being a test tube baby.
They're never going to tell you that's a Chinese experiment, Don.
The secret's out by now, Shane. You can only keep that shit secret for so long.
Oh my God. Ming's going to beat my ass.
Yao Ming is so offended.
We've got Shaq on our side.
We get a lot of followers in China. Oh wait, they're quarantined right now.
Yeah, they can't even listen to our stuff.
Hey, that means they have nothing better to do than to listen to us.
They just can't completely hurt us.
Do you think we are censored in China? Probably.
Oh Christ, are you kidding me? I bet you can't get to our website in China.
Probably not.
Are you kidding me?
God,
no way. There's no way. The morally bankrupt.com is not available in China. Thanks, Google. Well, Man, I don't know where to go with this from here, so I think it's about time to wrap it up. Thursday, we're all going to sit down and we're going to really break down this Super Bowl that we got coming up. I think that we're going to hit a bunch of prop bets. Right now, the line is at what, one and a half?
Yeah, 1.5.
1.5 for Kansas City.
Let's see here. 49ers plus 1.5.
Yeah,
Chiefs minus 1.5.
Yep, 1.5. So
I already know what I love, but I'm going to let that wait till Thursday.
Yep. So there's a bunch of them. We're going to sit down Thursday and talk about that. Outside of that, man, I got nothing else. Don, you got anything else, buddy?
Yeah, it was bullshit that Alexa Bliss was number 1 in the Women's Royal Rumble. That was bullshit. Now I'm going to recount. Start it over.
Okay.
Bullshit.
Moving on to Shane. Do you have anything else?
Nothing really. So in that case, let's go. The Morally Bankrupt podcast signing out. You can find us at themorallybankrupt.com. And I don't know. I'm at the Big Funk on Twitter. You guys can do whatever else you want.
I'm good with
All
it.
right.
Good with it.
Got somebody else?
Thanks for listening. And we'll see you Thursday.
Later.